Hi folks, Astronomy Live. Tonight I unfortunately bring you some very bad news that I received earlier today. And I know I just started this live stream spur of the moment here, so I'm going to give it a few moments for people to come in and to start watching before I really get into it. But this is going to be a tough one for me to maintain my composure, because something I've worked on now for three years basically is getting blown out of the water. So give me 1 second here. So I share this link around so people come in and we can talk about this. And rather than do this in the traditional Hangout format, I'm using OBS tonight, so it's not going to be like a Red's Rhetoric Hangout. I can't really invite other people in. I know there's a way to do that with OBS somehow, or through Google Meetings and OBS, some combination thereof. I've never done that before. I know there's a way, but it's not something I'm familiar with. So let me just share that. Okay. And let me close that so I don't get any annoying dings in the background. Yeah, so, yeah, I know there's a way to sort of use a combination of software to do a Hangout that's not really a Hangout, or a Hangout where it's actually being broadcast through OBS. Okay, so where to start on this story? The story really starts over a year ago, but we'll get to that in a moment. 2 days ago, on the Planet X News channel, there was a live webcast with Planet X News channel host Scott Cohn and his wife, Dr. Claudia Albers. And during this webcast, accusations were made about me specifically, about a lot of other people. They were talked about as well, but a very specific accusation was made that I stole my software, my tracking software, from my employer. That basically it's not mine. I didn't make it. It's really my employer's, and I've somehow stolen it, and I've posted it. So this was broadcast on their channel. I have an audio recording of it now. Now, interestingly, if you go to their channel tonight, you'll find that video from 2 days ago, but you'll find that it is about 1 hour shorter than it was originally when the webcast happened. It's been reduced from about 2 hours of length to about 1 hour of length. And a lot of material got chopped out of it. A lot. And as far as I can tell, just from doing a quick Control-F search of the transcript in its current state, it doesn't mention me at all. But it did originally. It did when it was being webcast, and shortly thereafter, I have a recording of the entire webcast. I've got the audio right here, and it's over 2 hours long. And I'm going to play for you a little clip, the relevant clip from that webcast making this accusation against me.
I mean, this punk-ass Astronomy Live He now has a goatee. You ought to see it. Oh my God, he looks like one of the Three Musketeers. But anyways, he doesn't have a huge following. He's a NASA fly boy, little troll boy. And he's one of the people who took part in having Dr. Elbers fired from her 17-year teaching career at the university. So these people don't have big followings, and they're not very likable. They don't really have personalities that, this punk-ass Astronomy Live, he now has a goatee. You ought to see it. Oh, my God, he looks like one of the Three Musketeers. But anyways, he doesn't have a huge following. He's a NASA fly boy, little troll boy. And he's one of the people who took part in having Dr. Elbers fired from her 17-year teaching career at the university. So these people don't have big followings, and they're not very likable. They don't really have personalities that, you can kind of adjust to. You start listening to them, and then all of a sudden, you're like, man, your voice is just like eating through my ear canal. Click. Astronomy Live, he's over. This punk-ass Astronomy Live, he now has a goatee. You ought to see it. Oh, my God, he looks like one of the Three Musketeers. But anyways, he doesn't have a huge following. He's a NASA fly boy, little troll boy. And he's one of the people who took part in having Dr. Elbers fired from her 17-year teaching career at the university. So these people don't have big followings, and they're not very likable. They don't really have personalities that, you can kind of adjust to. You start listening to them, and then all of a sudden, you're like, man, your voice is just like eating through my ear canal. Click. Astronomy Live, he's over there doing his little troll videos.
Okay, so sorry, I can't hear it on my end at all, so I can't tell if it's looping. I turned off the looping, but I guess it was still looping. So basically, as you heard, he accuses me of having stolen my software. Okay, now I suppose if that's where that ended, at least it wouldn't create any major problems for me, because the fact of the matter is I haven't stolen my software. I wrote it myself on my own time. I've uploaded it on my own time to GitHub. However, this evening I received an email from GitHub stating that they've received a DMCA takedown request for my software, purporting to be from an address corresponding to my employer. So I can't even share with you the DMCA takedown request because it would require me to effectively dox myself. Suffice it to say, this is fake. This is fraudulent. My employer has not issued a takedown request. This is my software, but I'm sure we'll be hearing soon about how I have stolen my software, and this is the proof. In 24 hours, my satellite tracking software, Sat Tracker, will be removed from GitHub, either by me or by GitHub. That's the choice they're giving me, literally. They're giving me 24 hours to remove the offending file, or they will delete it themselves. I'm assuming if they delete it themselves, that will have more serious repercussions for my account's status. I don't care. That's my whole purpose for that account, is these programs, specifically NeoTracker, Sat Tracker, and the forthcoming, well, would have been forthcoming UFO Tracker. Unfortunately, because it names actually multiple programs, it names Sat Tracker, it names my video stabilization algorithm, it names my SDO annotation software. Those are probably all going away as of tomorrow. So download it while you still can. The link is in the video description. It is not stolen software, it is my software. But dealing with this is presenting an interesting conundrum. Here's the deal. I can file a counter notice, just as you could with YouTube. If somebody makes a DMCA claim against your YouTube video and it's false, you can file a counter notice saying, hey, no, I believe this is misidentification. I have the rights to use this content. Please restore it. And YouTube will take a couple weeks, and if the person who filed the original notice hasn't provided proof that they're suing you in court, then they will restore the video automatically. The process is apparently very similar for GitHub, although there's a few differences there. And for those of you just joining, what you're seeing is a replay of footage I've recorded with Sat Tracker, showing the software in action, tracking the Hubble Space Telescope in the Wide Field Viewfinder camera. You can see another satellite flying by there just now, from right to left, unrelated to Hubble. But if you want this software, you'll need to go download it in the next 24 hours, because at the end of that, GitHub will take it down. And I can send a counter notice in, apparently, but if I do that, I'll have to disclose a great deal of personal information. My name, my phone number, and worst of all, my physical address. That's just not acceptable. I've moved a couple times since first dealing with Nibiru Planet X channel, Scott Cohn and his friends. And so I guarantee you they don't know where I live right now. I just recently moved to a new location, and I don't want them to know. And although I've invested 3 years now, I believe, 3 years into this software from the very early phases of development, back when it was a Visual Basic program, which I've now ported to Python. But you might remember the Halloween asteroid a few years ago. So this was 2015. What was the designation of this asteroid? 2015 TB145, yes. That was the very first object I ever tracked with my own software. And that software eventually became what I called Teletrack, which did rocket tracking as well. That tracked the Falcon Heavy launch. And then I started putting in satellite tracking functions into it. And that's what became this program. Of course, it's been through very many permutations, versions, and ultimately ported to Python, so it hardly resembles the original program, but it all kind of came from that original program 3 years ago. So it's been a long and arduous process to bring it to its current state. But I'm quite happy with how far I got with it. The fact that I got it to actually track satellites and keep them centered in the view, it's what I'd hoped for this program. And I'd hoped to share it with everybody, and that's why I published the source code on GitHub. But, unfortunately, circumstances are currently conspiring to make that a very temporary situation. It's ridiculous. I mean, it doesn't hugely bother me that YouTube won't let me monetize. Yeah, that's annoying. They consider my channel to be duplicate content, probably in part because I critique other videos, or at least I used to. You'll notice I haven't critiqued any of Planet X's videos in over a year. I haven't downloaded any of his videos and then, talked over them and explained why they're wrong, where they're wrong, etc. I haven't done that in a very long time. And it really started because of the doxing, and I changed course because I found out he was incredibly dangerous and unstable. He makes a lot of accusations about me, but what he won't mention to you is that about a year ago, maybe more than a year ago now, he called my workplace and tried to get me fired. And as it so happens, there's a recording of this call. I didn't make that recording, but it exists, and I'm going to play a piece of it here for you. And here's another accusation he made in that recording to try to get me fired from my job.
Ask who's calling?
Yes, my first name is Scott.
And your last name?
I'll spell it for you. C''O''N'.
Okay.
Yes.
And what are you calling in regards to?
Well, as I had mentioned to you, are you the same person that I spoke with this morning?
I don't think so.
Oh,
we have.
okay.
There's
Okay.
well, there's three different. people
Okay.
that respond.
Okay. What I'm trying to do is you have an employee that's working for your company, and he goes by the name of Mr.
Okay. Yes.
And this individual has been utilizing your facility, your telephones, and your email to threaten me and extort money from me, and also...
Okay, so obviously I'm not extorting money from him, okay? This is a bunch of nonsense. But you get the idea. So at that point I decided no more. I'm not going to directly argue with this guy anymore or give him any attention sharing his videos, etc. It's been over a year. The hands-off approach hasn't helped. I'm still being harassed, and it's actually in some ways worse now, because now I'm looking at losing my GitHub account, possibly, at the very least losing my software, definitely. It will not be available on GitHub anymore. And my only recourse is to potentially give away my address. So that's not going to happen. Now, I will look into using a legal service to file a counter notice in an anonymous fashion so that none of my information is disclosed, but instead the law office is used as the address and the lawyer's information is used as the agent on my behalf. So that's the way I'm going to go with this. That's the only way that this software is going to be restored to GitHub. And that's, even if that occurred tomorrow, which maybe it will, it's probably going to take GitHub time to process that and restore it. So if you want to download the software, do it now while you still can, because it's not going to be up there at this time tomorrow night. One way or the other, they're going to take it down, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. So it gives new meaning to you can't even give your product away. Literally not allowed. So just gonna have to deal with it, and I don't know. In the meantime, I guess it'll just stay offline. I'm thinking about maybe trying to put it somewhere else, if not GitHub. Where? Drop Canvas obviously is no longer an option. Maybe Google Drive, but there again, they could file false DMCA, I suppose. I don't know. I definitely don't want to endanger my personal Google Drive. I guess I could make a secondary account for it, something like that. But yeah, you know, in terms of just keep doing what I do, not being discouraged, I appreciate the sentiment, but I'm at a point now where I have to question how. How do I keep doing what I do? It's not really possible. So, yeah, and yeah, I can't even take super chats. That's the other thing. It's like, okay, can't take super chats. Okay, can't even give my software away now. Oh, it's so good, so good. So obviously, yeah, I'm a little frustrated. But I'm not going to stoop to his level. In spite of all of this, not going to do that. But I'm also not going to give away the farm. I'm not going to give away my location. So even if that means the Teletrax modules, SatTrack, and the rest never get restored, I don't care. It's not worth it. Not worth the risk. So, yeah, it's a pain, and you know, it's the process itself is very slanted in his favor in a variety of ways. As far as the DMCA takedown request, GitHub wouldn't even reveal to me the email of the person who had sent in the request, or their name, or their phone number, or anything. The only thing it gave me was the address. That's it. The physical address, which was obviously not the physical address of the person who actually sent it in. So I've got nothing to go on as far as proof. It's absurd. And I'm seriously contemplating for the first time, seriously contemplating just walking away from YouTube. Just saying, you know what? It's not worth it. What's the point? Okay? I'm not making any money from this. It's just bringing me stress and trouble. And it's ruining my ability to share my work. Who needs this, honestly? And it's just absurd. So I'm going to spend some time seriously contemplating where I want to go in the future. And I apologize if I end up coming to the conclusion that it really isn't worth it, and I end up stepping away. I know that's going to be frustrating to a lot of people and disappointing, but I have to consider factors of safety, not to mention just stress, just the toll it takes on me personally is becoming almost more than I can handle. And I would have thought that, you know, like I said, taking a hands-off approach and just stepping back and just focusing on doing things like this, things like releasing software utilities for people to use, focusing on actual astronomy, not focusing on the BS and the fake astronomy. I thought that would have maybe caused them to forget about me and maybe made life smoother. But it seems like, if anything, it's starting to have the opposite effect. And yeah, I understand that a lot of people are going to feel like, well, you're giving him what he wants now. Maybe, I don't know. Not giving me any attention isn't helping my situation any. And at this point, like I said, I'm seriously contemplating just letting it all go, just stepping away from YouTube. This video probably isn't going to stay up anyway. I'm going to take this thing down. But I just want to let you know, so that people know who want to know, you got 24 hours to download my software. After that, it's going to be gone. And I apologize for that. If I'd had a longer collection of videos like this, of just the software in action, I might just leave that running with a countdown timer. Yeah, maybe I'll do that anyway. That's not a bad idea. Countdown timer to when the software is going to be deleted by GitHub. Just so people know and say, look, you got this long. If you want it, here it is. Get it now while the getting's good. And just let it go. And that's it. So if I set up a fund somewhere, please post the link here on YouTube so we can contribute. I appreciate that. I don't have a formal fund set up or GoFundMe or a Kickstarter or anything. If it comes down to it, if it turns out I really do have to like pay thousands of dollars to find a lawyer to send in a anonymous counter notice, I don't think it should cost that much. And I think Daza's got an option for me that might actually work. I don't know 100% yet if that will technically work with GitHub. It's designed for YouTube, but I'm pretty sure that lawyer who does that service would be willing to work with me for GitHub. So I'm going to reach out to him and see if he's willing to work with me on that. And if so, it probably won't cost me very much at all. But if it does, then yeah, maybe I'll have to set up a GoFundMe. I do have a donation link in the video description of this video. That was originally supposed to be for people who were getting utility out of the software, that people who downloaded it and appreciated it and wanted to support further development. That was for that. Unfortunately, right now it looks like that development is going to be put on hold at least for weeks to come. Which is, like I said, it's just beyond frustrating. What's the point? Why? All because of this guy being jealous of my skill or, feeling threatened by it? I don't know. It's amazing. So, like I said, I'm going to take this video down, but I might start another webcast where there's no audio, there's nothing. I just stream this video looping over and over with a countdown timer to its destruction. I'm not going to do that either. That's a waste of bandwidth, and unfortunately I've got limited bandwidth even on my home connection now, so I can't do that. But it would be poetic, I guess. So 3 years, almost to the day, actually, that I started development on this program, because I remember that Halloween asteroid in 2015, that was on Halloween. That was the morning, I think, of Halloween was when I tracked it on my channel. So it was around that time. So within a week, plus or minus, of the 3-year anniversary of starting development of the software, it's being taken offline. It's a shame. It's a real shame. I mean, the funny thing is, in the end, he's only hurting all other amateur astronomers, really, because he can't delete it from my hard drive. I mean, even if GitHub never restores it, it's on my hard drive, and I'm going to be using it for years to come. So have fun with that, you know. He's not going to erase it from, erase my work. All they can do is prevent others from being able to get access to it. So, yeah. Force the issue. Yeah, I understand, you know, they should be forced to face consequences for these actions. I mean, it's beyond the pale, but it seems like YouTube, for their part, they don't care. I don't know how many times now I've reported, you know, private information being on his channel, exposing my information, doxing me, threatening me, that kind of stuff. I've reported it many, many times, and on occasion, sometimes they'll listen when it comes to exposing private information, but usually they don't even listen to that. He edited the video. Like I said, he's trimmed an hour out of it, maybe because of something somebody else reported, but he's removed all the sections with me in it as well. So he knows how to game the system. You know, he'll make these ridiculous accusations and say these absurd things, but then he'll remove it himself oftentimes before YouTube has had a chance to review it, so he gets away with it. And that's just how it goes. So I guess in a way I am stooping to his level, because I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to take this video down, but I just want to let everyone know who's watching that if you want to download my software, it's right there. Links in the video description to all of my repositories. And the main one that is the one that I've put the most effort into, that is the first one being targeted, is Sat Tracker. And hope you enjoy it. If you have, if you guys have downloaded it and you're having issues with it, please let me know. I'm not going to delete my channel, but like I said, I've got to reevaluate where this channel is going to go in the future and what the format's really going to be. Because I can't keep doing this. I can't keep dealing with this level of nonsense. But if you have issues with it, if you the ASCOM functionality is still fairly untested. I think some people have tested it as far as connecting to their ASCOM telescope, and it works that far in. But I don't know how well the tracking works on ASCOM yet. And so, if you have that, or if you have any other bugs or issues that need addressing, just leave me a comment and let me know, and I'll work with you directly on that and revise the software as needed, and put out patches, other versions through direct contact if necessary. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, please do share it. Thank you. Yeah, if you do download it and you want to share it, please do. If you'd be so kind, just leave a link back to my video, just my main channel. Obviously, well, I guess I'll leave the release video up, even though I don't know what I'm going to do about that. That's another thing. I've got this release video showing how to use this software, showing where to go get this software, which is now about to be deprecated, as the link inside its video description will be dead as of tomorrow night. So that's going to be fun to explain over and over. But if you do download it and you want to share it, please do. Just leave a link back to the main page of my channel if you can, so that people, if they have issues, they can come contact me and work through any issues they might have with it. It works exclusively on altitude azimuth mounts at the moment. As a matter of fact, I haven't implemented right ascension declination based tracking yet. It assumes that your mount is mounted alt-az. You have to pick whether you have an LX200 mount or just use general universal ASCOM drivers, but both are assuming that you are ALTAS mounted. So in a future version, it will have compatibility with equatorial telescopes as well, but I haven't gotten there yet. That was something I was going to do after I could verify that at least the ALTAS tracking was accurate for both ASCOM and LX200s. Yeah, sorry, Mr. Unite for the Children. Basically, the long and short of it is, a couple days ago, Planet X News accused me of stealing this software, my satellite tracking software, from my employer, which, by the way, is absurd. If you know what I do, and he does, he even said it on the live stream, what I work for, it has nothing to do with satellite tracking. They wouldn't have a use for the software even if they did have it. So no, I didn't steal it from my employer, but that was the accusation. And now a false DMCA takedown request has been submitted to GitHub, and my software is going to be deleted in 24 hours off of GitHub. Less than 24 hours. At about 5 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, 2100 Universal Time, it should be around then that GitHub will remove it if I haven't already done it myself. That is the ultimatum they gave me. My choice is I can remove it myself or they can do it for me. That just sounds nice and ominous, doesn't it? So I don't even know what's going to happen when I get all those strikes on my channel, because they've targeted the satellite tracker, they've targeted the video stabilization algorithm, and they've targeted the SDO annotation program. So all three of those have been targeted, and if they take down all three, I don't know how many strikes GitHub gives you. I don't know. So maybe I lose my entire GitHub account. I don't know. Can I put it back up? I guess I could. I guess I could make a second account and put it there, but that would definitely be in violation of GitHub's rules. I'm almost certain. I haven't even looked, and I'm pretty sure that that's going to be in direct violation of the rules. And here's the thing, like, at the moment, it doesn't help to panic, I don't think, in the sense of going around GitHub's rules to try to get it back out there. Because the instant I do that, first of all, he just sent another DMCA, and also, if GitHub discovers that I've done that, they will probably nuke all accounts associated with me. And they won't even care at that point if the DMCA was true or false, because I'll have violated their rules, and that's all they'll care about. So I don't want to go down that road. Not yet. Now, if something weird goes on with the counter notice process and they don't respond to me or acknowledge the counter notice, then maybe that is the road I have to go down. But we're not there yet. So yeah, and they don't care if it's my work or not. They literally don't care, and it's like YouTube. They don't want the legal liability at all. They don't want any risk associated with the legal liability of saying that, oh yeah, this is so and so software, the claim was false. They will not adjudicate that. They refuse to. So as far as they're concerned, all that matters is the DMCA process itself. They don't care if it's his software or my software or whose software. They don't care. All they care about is they received a notice, and they will abide by that notice until they receive a counter notice. The purpose of the counter notice is to put the legal liability on me directly. So with the counter notice, whether I submit that myself or through a legal representative, what that is saying is I am claiming this is my software, and I'm not going to hide behind DMCA regulations, which say if you take it down right away, if you receive an official notice and you go through the procedures right and you take it down, they can't sue you. Okay? It's the counter notice is saying, yes, you can sue me. If you really want to press this, come and sue me. It's like a come at me, bro, in a legal sense. And I'm not a lawyer, and I'm sure this is all horrible to a lawyer's ears. This is probably not technically right, but just paraphrasing and summarizing here. The counter notice is a way of legally saying, I claim responsibility for this content, whatever it is, that I own the copyright, and if there are any issues, you have to come through me. You can't hold the provider responsible, the content provider or hosting service like GitHub itself. You can't go after GitHub. You have to sue me directly. So that is the point of the counter notice, and obviously in doing that, you have to give away your contact information, because you have to give that over to the person who's making the claim to say, If you want to sue me, here's where I can be found. So if you submit a counter notice yourself, you have to give your name, your phone number, your email address, and best of all, your physical address. I am not doing that. I refuse to do that. I don't care if the software stays down for all of eternity. I'm not doing that. If you use a legal representative, in other words, a lawyer, they can act as an agent on your behalf and submit the counter notice basically for you, and their contact information becomes your contact information. So it's if you want to sue me, talk to my lawyer, basically. Okay, that's the quick and dirty summary. And that's the road I'm going to have to go down if I want to restore it. But for the next X number of hours, it is still up on GitHub, so I recommend, if you want to try it out now, go and get it there. That'll be the easiest way to do it. Yeah, exactly. That's probably the goal. Get all my personal info for harassment. I've moved a couple of times since he first doxed me, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't have my current location, and I'm not going to give it to him. No way, no how. So, that's why we're going to do things this way, which is to basically use a legal representative or bust. I am not submitting a counter notice with my own contact information, because frankly, I just don't want him knocking on my door. That just would not end well. That's all I'm going to say there. So yeah, GitHub. GitHub, you would think, they're pretty computer savvy, right? I mean, their website's all about sharing source code for various programs. They ought to know. They ought to know that this doesn't make sense. Like, the claim itself doesn't make sense. The claim is that my employer owns this software. Why would my employer have satellite tracking software? If you know what my employer is and what they do, they don't have anything to do with this. And I'm almost tempted to say what it is they do just because it's so funny. It's so unrelated to this. I do work in science, but not in astronomy. So it's got nothing to do with tracking satellites. But I'm not going to self-dox, so... hey, Chris Potter's in the chat. So basically, what happened, I'm assuming you saw the Hangout 2 nights ago, which has been edited now, trimmed down 1 hour lopped off of it, so that all references, at least to me, are removed. Probably you as well. He mentioned you quite a bit. But originally, he accused me of having stolen my software from my employer, and that this tracking software that you're seeing here, my satellite tracking software, is stolen software. So tonight, I get a notice from GitHub, where the source code is hosted, saying that a takedown notice has been filed against my software, purportedly from my employer, but I know that's not true. So that means somebody else did that, and I can give you 2 guesses as to who. So I don't have proof of that, though, unfortunately, because the way it's set up with GitHub, they don't show you the email address, the phone number, or the name of the person who sent the takedown request. They don't care to share that with you. That's private information as far as they're concerned. They just want to hear from you whether you want to do a counter notice and assume legal liability for the software or the content, saying that, you're affirming that this is your work, your copyright, and if it's not, they can sue you, not GitHub. But of course, in doing that, you have to hand over your personal contact information, or you have to use a legal representative, and that's the road I'm going to be going down. So Daz is helping me with that. We're going to take a look at that. There is a lawyer who helps with these things, normally on YouTube, but hopefully I can confirm that his process will work just the same for GitHub, and if that's true, that's what I'll be doing, and hopefully in a couple weeks this will be restored back online. But at the very least, it's managed to put all development of the software on hold for a 2-week period, probably, I'm guessing. So that's nice. That's real nice. And at the worst, it means that my software is just not going to be available anymore. So that's fun. At least not to anyone else. So, yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. Alright. Well, I guess that's all I have to say. And I'm not gonna leave this video up for very long because I don't want to give him the pleasure of it. But I wanted everyone else to be aware and spread the word, spread the software, copy it, download it, spread it. And if you have any questions, any issues with the software, then contact me on the release page. You know what I'll do is I'll post a pinned comment on the previous video I did releasing the software and explaining how to use it, and just explain the situation in a few words. And if you have any issues, if you download the software and you need a patch for it, or it's not working, or it's doing something funky, you have any questions about it, let me know there. You can just comment right there. Alternatively, there is an email address in the About section of this YouTube page, and I'm communicating with 1 or 2 people there as well on software issues there that they're having with installing it and stuff. So you can feel free to contact me that way as well. I don't check that email address as often, but I do try to check it on about a once-a-day basis. So I'll address questions there as well. Thanks for watching, and clear skies, folks. Stay tuned for more.